Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen. You're watching Dallas Roundup with Mujib Qazi, and today we are joined by some of the very esteemed guests on a very special show about Kashmir today. We have with us Mufti Shaukat Farooqi Saab, who is Vice President for Kashmir Global Council, and he is an attorney by trade. And we also have with us Altaf Qadri Saab, who is interim convener for JKLF. He is an entrepreneur by trade, and I'm very humble and honored to have both of them on my show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Welcome. Let's get started. In the eyes of very many people around the world, and particularly for Kashmiris, February 5th has marked a very important significance in terms of support pouring in from people of Pakistan, Azad Kashmir, and for that matter, Kashmiris around the world. How do you see that support pouring in from the public? And what do you make out of it? Mufti Saab.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As a Kashmiri, I welcome any support for Kashmir and its struggle for independence, and particularly from the grassroots, Pakistani citizens, Pakistani public, both from Pakistan and Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, and also from our side of the Kashmir. We welcome it, and this is what is makes us go on. The support from the public in the face of tremendous resistance from India, tremendous onslaught, violations, and violence, state-sponsored terrorism, state-sponsored violence, censorship, all of those things. It is the support of the people that is the life and blood of this struggle, and that is what makes this struggle go forward.
Qadri Saab, I'm going to come to you, and then I'll come back to Mufti Saab once again about the real essence of our program today. I was watching a Prime Minister of Pakistan statement earlier today. He reiterated what Quaid-e-Azam, the founder of Pakistan, have said. Kashmir belongs to people of Kashmir, and he will respect whatever the decision will be made by the people of Kashmir. How do you look at that statement from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan?
I feel it is more for the public consumption, and it does not have any backing from the institutions that those work on Kashmir, because there are a lot of loopholes in the statement. Because recently they annexed Gilgit-Baltistan, then they made constitutional changes in the National Assembly of Pakistan about Kashmir. Then there is a lot of noise about making Kashmir as part of Pakistan, and converting the ceasefire line into permanent part of India. And reportedly, it is being said that Bajwa, the army chief and Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, is have signed the paper secretly with India that the issue will be rolled back. So in that, when you look at the statement in those in that light, there is a contradiction in the statement, because politicians are quite used to whip the emotions of the people, and that is how I look at it. I don't think it has any substance in it or any sincerity in it.
So I assume that you're probably referring to what Hamid Mir has reportedly have said, that there was a consensus before 5th 11 between the establishment of Pakistan as well as in India. So this was about to happen, and Pakistan didn't do anything. So I believe that's what you're referring to. And I would not challenge you, because I know you have worked on both sides of the line of control. You're originally from Srinagar. You were born and raised in Indian occupied Kashmir, but you have spent quite a bit of time in Azad Kashmir, so you could probably know what's happening on the ground. Uh, let's move on to the human rights violation in Kashmir.
Now, I want to say something about that, if you would allow me, Mujib sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was reading this statement today, and what Imran Khan Sahab has said is that once Kashmiris opt for Pakistan, then they would be given the option to be independent. So we have seen this movie before, and this is exactly the statement that Nehru gave in 1947
Hmm.
in Srinagar Lal Chowk in front of hundreds and thousands of people, that they would uh, hold a referendum. They were guaranteeing a referendum, and that the issue of the final settlement of Kashmir would be referred back to to people of Kashmir. And those were repeated from time to time, repeated. And then they also put some constitutional guarantees, although in a diluted way. But you know what happened on August 5, 2019. So we have seen that movie. So there is no one in Kashmir, at least in Indian occupied Kashmir, that that will trust that statement. Because what we have seen from politicians in the past, Indian politicians in the past, because once we they would argue that once we opt for Pakistan, then we will spend another 70, 80 years asking for fighting for independence. So what gives credence to that is how people who struggle for an independent Kashmir inside Pakistan, inside Azad Kashmir, how they are treated. And you are more aware of that than I am. I am relying on reports, and I only need to refer to some activists who were put in jail recently. One of them is Tanveer Ahmed. His only his only crime was that he hoisted a flag of independent Kashmir. And there are people in Gilgit-Baltistan who have been incarcerated for a pretty long time, and they are not being released on bail or anything. They are not being tried. And inside Azad Kashmir, people who have their ideology, who struggle for an independent Kashmir, they don't have any political voice. They are not allowed to stand in elections. You can correct me if I am wrong. And they are treated like second class citizens in that country. They have no voice, and they don't have any respect in that. So I don't know how Khan Saab expects Kashmiris to believe his statement when he says that they will give independence to Kashmir after Kashmiris out for Pakistan, in the light of what is happening, how Kashmiris who struggle for independent Kashmir are treated in Pakistan or Azad Kashmir, and how they were treated in India by the Indian leaders. So our struggle, we don't want to be. We have spent 70 years on this, and at this time we do not want to be to we do not want to be uh, we do not want to believe such statements. What we want, we have a clear stand. Kashmir Global Council has a clear stand, and that is struggle for an independent Kashmir. We do not want to spend even another 1 year, in a delusion that independent Kashmir can go along with accession to Pakistan. These are not coexisting. These cannot coexist anymore. I want to point out one thing. There is a qualitative difference, qualitative change in Kashmir about accession to Pakistan and independent Kashmir. Recently, the Chatham Institute of London, which is a think tank, respected think tank, instituted a survey in the local language, in both in IOK and in POK. Uh, uh, and they came up, the results were astounding. Overall, 50% of people in both sides of different different points of view, all of them together, 50% opted for independent Kashmir. And in Kashmir, in Indian occupied Kashmir, in the Kashmiri speaking area, Muslim speaking area, it was 70 to 90%. So this was an eye opener even for those who espouse uh, accession to Pakistan. And there is a qualitative change there. So those people who follow, who espouse accession to Pakistan have no takers, have very little support on the ground now. Things have changed. Much water has flown down the hill.
I can completely understand what your sentiment is, Mufti Sahib, and appreciate sharing your concern with our audience at the global stage. Um, I know the support of the people of Pakistan is unwavering and genuine, but what establishment or what the agencies are corroding their minds and what you are alluding to, I can totally understand that. And I know that there was a lot of expectations from the people from the Indian occupied Kashmir, from the government of Pakistan, and from the military of Pakistan. There was a whole lot of expectation. Unfortunately, that was all undermined by the actions of the government in Pakistan. And we can understand every country have their own issues and whatnot. Um, Qadri Sahib, do you want to add any more? We have a couple of minutes on that because I need to divert our attentions towards what's happening on the ground in Indian occupied Kashmir.
No, I think Mufti Saab has very clearly, elucidated it. I second to him.
Well, let's move on to see what's happening. I know Kashmiris in both sides of the line of control in Gilgit-Baltistan are enjoying the support from people of Pakistan, and unfortunately, some of the people who are in the decision making are not reflecting to the will of the people of Pakistan, and that is very unfortunate. They are not kept on the bright side of the issue. So I was looking at the human rights report in the Indian side. Please, you're welcome to share anything if you have anything to add on the other side of the line of control. In the last 73 years, over 11,234 gang rapes, 7,163 under. These are the deaths that took place while the Kashmiri individuals were picked up and they were killed during the arrest. 107,813 kids are orphans today. 95,741 Kashmiris have given their life for the sake of freedom. 22,934 women have become widows. 165,407 Kashmiris are under arrest. What in the world is going on here?
You see, if I would tell you, in India, the government of India, which is a fascist government, there is no doubt about it. And earlier on, also the Congress, also both the regimes, be it Congress, so-called secular, or the BJP, which is clearly a fascist organization, both of them have, joined hands in promoting state-sponsored terrorism in Kashmir. There are laws, and there are understandings being made by the government of India, and there's a complete protection provided by Indian laws to go against any extent against the innocent people of Kashmir. Number one. Number two, you must know that in Kashmir there are certain laws, and the government and the army, they promote killings and they promote violence of innocent people, because if you kill one Kashmiri there, you're supposed to get 21,000 rupees by the government, and those promote the violence. And recently, the killings, three innocent people who were killed, and then they were buried. Then there was a hue and cry. They conducted investigation. It is the government of India's its own internal investigation, which revealed that the major or the captain had taken 2100,000 rupees from somewhere to kill those three innocent people. That is how there is a complete connivance from the government, to go to any extent and kill, rape, murder, plunder, blast, uh, and usurp all human rights of the people of Kashmir. Where in the people living in Indian side of Kashmir are living literally in a uh, very dangerous, in a very dangerous situation, I guess.
Mufti Saab, under the given circumstances, who actually represents people of Kashmir on a global stage? I mean, I can see hundreds of organizations sprouting out, and the leaders are hosting meetings and the protest every nook and corner of the world. But I don't see a one central figure who can be a true representative of people of Kashmir, who can take this case at a global stage and fight the case. Hey, this is what people of Kashmir want.
I will answer that, but before that, I want to address this human rights issue in the light of what happened recently. So there were two killings, but those are stage encounters. They said they were encounters, but they were stage encounters. One was in Shopian area. Three little kids, three boys were killed by paramilitary forces,
Mhm.
and there was a hue and cry. They said they are LET militants, and they were killed in an encounter. So the parents raised hue and cry, and there was a lot of hue and cry, not only from the parents, but from the population, also from people around. And then after a lot of pressure, an inquiry was set up, and DNA evidence was collected, and it turned out that they were not militants. They were school going kids, and they were killed in cold blood. And Altaf Saab referred to rewards, to killings for rewards,
Right.
and he was saying they get it from somewhere. They don't get it from somewhere. They get it from their commanders. They get it from the Indian government, that if you kill Kashmiris in encounters, you will get 25,000 rupees. And 25 lakh,
Hmm.
25 lakh rupees. And what happened there was that the commander, the person, the captain of that unit, he killed them. He killed them before giving any warning, anything at all, and without giving them any warning, anything, he killed them point blank. And then they staged an encounter, made it look like that there had been an encounter. This is their own inquiry.
Hmm.
This is what came out in their own inquiry. So, encouraged by that, there were another killing of three boys who went from home in Srinagar, in the outskirts of Srinagar, to take a test, to take an examination for employment. And they were accosted. And then they were killed in cold blood in a stage encounter. But the government has so far not ordered an inquiry in that, not even a magisterial inquiry, nothing. So the point is that so long as there are laws like AFSPA and the Disturbed Areas Act in force in the Indian occupied Kashmir, which give complete protection to security forces, even if they kill, maim, rape. So until that those laws are not revoked, this is going to happen. And secondly, when you have a policy of catch and kill, the forces are going to do it. That is what they are asked to do. Uh, and under the apps, this is not these are not the only two incidents. There have been hundreds of incidents where the security forces have killed people, killed young boys in cold blood. And they were proved, there were inquiries, they were proved to be true in courts of law. But then under the AFSPA, you cannot prosecute them because you have to have sanction from the union government, Union Home Ministry. And in the last 70 years, it's a record that not one sanction, not a single sanction has been accorded for prosecution by the government of India. So this is the state of affairs.
Yeah, it's
How can
tragic.
how people are living under fear? They don't know their life. They are living. They face these threats every day. So I forgot what was your question.
My question was that there are hundreds of organizations sprouting up both sides of the Kashmir. On a global stage, we don't have one united platform that can be the true representative of people of Kashmir. I just want you to be cognizant of the time we are asked into last 4 minutes.
Oh, I am aware of that, and it is true that there is nobody that represents Kashmir. We can say is a true representative of Kashmir on the global scale, um, among the diaspora or anybody else. So that is why Kashmir Global Council has initiated the formation of the Senate, Kashmir Senate, to give direct representation to the people of Kashmir on both sides, Jammu and Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, Azad Kashmir, and Gilgit Baltistan. So the Senate will comprise of the assembly seats that each region has. Like Srinagar, Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir will have 98 seats in the Senate. AJK will have 41 seats, and Gilgit Baltistan will have 24 seats. So, what is the procedure for selecting those members? It will be by nomination. In each assembly constituency, uh, the voters of that constituency are given the option to to nominate a member to the Senate, and the person who gets the highest number of nominations will be selected as a senator. The age is 18 or above. There is no restriction on whether they are Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Pandits. Any community can be represented in that. And what is their only whatever political affiliations they have, there is only one condition, that they they swear an affidavit that they support an independent Kashmir. That is the only thing. So this offers opportunity not only for Muslims but for minorities to be in the Senate, to be part of the Senate. And and that Senate, since it is based on representation, direct representation, let us say indirect representation of people, but some kind of representation, and that it will have a representative character on the international scene. So that we are trying to facilitate that process, facilitate the formation of the Senate. And we have already done a lot of work on that. And because of COVID, we could not call a meeting. We had a meeting scheduled in Texas. It was postponed twice. So because of COVID, we could not do that, but we are trying to do it region wise, in Kashmir, in Jammu, in Indian occupied Kashmir, in Azad Kashmir, in Gilgit Baltistan, and we will, inshallah, soon announce uh, schedules for receiving nominations for that. I
Thank,
think I
thank
think that would be a true representative of Kashmir, that Senate, because it comes directly from the people. They are the ones who nominate them, and it has space for everyone: minorities, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, everybody. And this is something that we have proposed and we are facilitating.
Excellent. I think this will probably require an entire session for us to have it in detail out so people can understand how exactly it's going to be chalked out. And we'll ask you to come back and share the entire process with our audience one more time. But we are running out of time. In the last 1 minute, Kadi Saab, I'm going to come back to you for quick closing remarks with one question, if you can. I know there's not one doable solution for the Kashmir issue, but in your point of view, under the organization that you represent, what do you think? What is the ultimate solution for the people of Kashmir, and who will give them the freedom? And the freedom doesn't come without any cost. Our Kashmiris are ready to pay that price.
Well, obviously, since I represent Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front and to some extent KDC, I have affiliation. Of course, independent Kashmir is the most ideal solution, and uh, we are marching towards that. At the same time, we will have some, stumbling blocks on the way. We will remove them. We will move on, and uh, inshallah, I think it is Quran also, and it is the Iqbal's share is "Pahunchi wahi pe khak, jahan ka khamir tha." Kashmir has been an independent nation, and it will come back to its own point. And that is the history that you and me have witnessed in East Europe. They had a history. They were nations. They are back. They have achieved their nationhood again. They are members of the United Nations. United Nations today. They are member of the European Union. So if it could happen there, it can happen on Kashmir also. Inshallah.
I appreciate and at the end, I would like to thank Mufti Shaukat Saab for giving us the time and speaking with us. Qadhi Saab, thank you very much for taking the time out on this very special occasion for people of Kashmir. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have today. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much.